My name is Sharon, and my husband and son treat me like a maid. Seems like I failed in disciplining not just my husband, but my son as well. That's why they treat me the way that they do. I don't feel like I'm seen as a wife or a mother. My husband Terry's attitude started to sour after our son Vic was born. Vic is already an adult now, and it's like there's two of my husband. They make me do everything while they just sit around. I'm not exactly the docile type, so when they make me do all these things, I always refuse.
Only 2 sides with today's dinner? You should be able to at least make a good dinner. That's right, there's no way I'll fill up on this much food.
Complaining like that all the time. Hey, I'm not your maid, so when things are busy with work, sometimes there won't be as many sides. Even still, I cook everything for you guys every day, so how about you eat without complaining? If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it, is what I said back. Of course, that didn't shut them up at all.
You only work part-time, right? You shouldn't be getting tired from a part-time job. It's weird that you're getting mad at this. If I get married, I want to marry someone with good manners, unlike you, they retorted.
With things at home like this every day, I can never rest. Nothing I do is ever good enough for those two. They nitpick about every little detail. Of course, if I didn't make enough for their liking, I've told them they can make their own themselves. But they don't seem to understand that. They seem to think their word is law. So no matter how hard I fight back, they always get their way. I know the harder I fight back, the more they look down on me. But I can't just follow their every order. It's not in my nature to leave things unsaid. But I'm tired from all of this as well. It seems like they won't change either, though. So I had pretty much given up on expecting anything from them. But having nobody around me on my side was starting to get to me mentally. I thought about talking about things with my in-laws or friends, but Terry isn't in contact with his parents anymore. And when we're around friends, Terry is a completely different person, much more kind. It seems like he only says good things about me to others. Getting Terry to tell him to stop is probably the best way to stop Vic as well. While those two are working together like this, there's nothing I can do. I'm on my own here in this house, and knowing nobody can help hurts. I complain about it to my friend at work every once in a while, but since they've never seen it happen at all, things like that can happen in any family, is how they saw things. It wasn't much help, but I was still thankful they listened to me. This morning, Terry said,
I get annoyed when I see you. It's the worst going to work in that mood. Could you stay in the room until I leave for work?
I got really mad when he said that. Then, since I can't leave the room, you can make your own breakfast. He replied with, What? No, wake up earlier and make it before I wake up. Then if you go back after, I can get ready without seeing you.
Use your head a bit.
After everything he said before, this got me even more angry. I was going to say more, but he stopped listening and left for work. Vic saw this all and laughed.
If you don't want Dad to hate you more, shouldn't you listen better?
He said, also leaving for work. All of this ruined the rest of the day for me. Of course, I thought about getting a divorce before, but Terry didn't want that.
It'd look bad to everyone around us if we got divorced.
That's the one thing he's careful about. It's so ridiculous that I was at a loss for words. I can't forge the divorce papers, so I'm not sure what I can do. If I could, I'd divorce him and leave this nightmare right away. I've stayed at my parents' house before as well, but I get worried about Vic, and nothing changes, and I don't want to abandon him either. I was hoping I'd come back to him regretting what he's done, but he never does, so things just repeat over and over. I don't have the energy to go back to my parents either. I just continue on exhausted every day. But if I ever do leave this house again, Vic is an adult now, so I don't think I'll ever come back. A few days later, something happened that surprised me. Vic had gotten engaged at some point. I didn't even know that he was dating anyone. And today, Vic brought his girlfriend Taylor to our house. It was the first time he'd ever brought a girl into the house. And he didn't let me know either, making things even more surprising. I thought Terry didn't know either, but it seems like he told him.
Oh, you must be Vic's fiancé. Nice to meet you.
He welcomed her warmly. I was the only one who didn't know what was happening. Taylor greeted me as well. She seemed like a polite, normal girl, which relieved me. They came to tell us they decided the date they'd sign their marriage registration.
I'll get married to her. Congratulate me.
That was how he told me about his engagement. It was so sudden, I didn't even know anything about her. And it's someone like my son would choose, so I was a bit worried. I might have another enemy now, but for now, she seemed very polite. It was unexpected in a good way. Sorry for not introducing myself sooner. Let's get along well. She was trying to get along, so I wanted the same. I was very happy, but a bit uneasy about all of this. I wondered if maybe she didn't know how Vic really is. But I can't just tell her he's evil. It was a complicated situation. As far as I could see, Vic and Terry were being nice to her. The complete opposite of how they treat me. Terry was the same to me before we were married, so I wasn't sure if she'd be happy marrying my son. Maybe I'm not the best parent for thinking like this about my own son's marriage. I just don't want anyone else to feel like I do. I can't say that she won't be happy marrying Vic. I just think she has to know how he really is. I wondered how I should show her how things are. It might be weird of a mother to do this. If I tell her directly, Vic might say some pretty horrible things to me. Other than that, nothing else came to mind. I might be the only one who can help her. That's how I thought. Sometime later, she sent me a message. Thank you for having me at your house, but I felt like things might have been a bit awkward. It seemed like she had something she wanted to talk about with me. I thought now was the perfect time, so I went to meet her. She said, Vic's always smiling at me, but when he looks at you, he's got a really cold look. I felt like Terry was always moving you around as well. I'm sorry if I'm getting the wrong idea here. I just thought it was better if I knew before I got married. She was really sharp. As for me, I didn't notice anything wrong with Terry before I got married. I warned her before telling her about Vic's true nature. I can tell you, but it might be shocking for you. Do you really want to know? In response to this, I want to know everything, is what she answered. I told her how he is around the house, also how my husband was before and after marriage. It must have been hard to hear this for her, seeing how she's about to get married to him. She had a really serious look on her face as she was listening. I see. That's how he is at home? Thank you for telling me. But I'm sorry, I don't think you're lying. But I also don't hate Vic after hearing this. I think I'll go through with the wedding, but don't worry though. I'm on your side, she said, and I wasn't planning on forcing her to stop the wedding. I respect her choice, and all she has asked me to do is tell the truth. And so, I'm happy to have someone as wonderful as you in the family. But I might get told there's no use for me now that you're here. I'm usually treated like that by then, is what I told her. I don't really know why I said that to her. But what she said back was, if you get kicked out, I'll leave as well. But I can't imagine him being that cruel. I'd be really shocked if he did something like that. I apologized to her for saying what I did. She told me not to worry about it. I'm happy she took what I said seriously also. My words alone aren't enough to make someone believe that, but it's good for her to know beforehand. If something happens, she'll be prepared. She promised not to tell Vic and Terry about our talk, which was relieving. Whatever happens now, I decided I'd be on her side. She felt like a daughter to me. I felt like I had to protect her, but it'll be better if nothing happens at all. Soon after, Vic and Taylor got married with no issues. Now, she really was my daughter in a way. I was happy to have such a good daughter. But, like I expected, I was kicked out after that. Terry and Vic started talking about something as soon as the marriage was finalized. They were talking about Taylor living with them. Of course, this was the first I heard of it.
I haven't talked to Taylor about it yet, but I'm sure she'll be okay with it. If she comes to live here, we can have delicious meals and live happily every day.
So it seemed like she really didn't hear anything about it. Terry started listening to Vic now, who was talking to himself until now.
That sounds nice. It'll get more lively in here.
Hearing their words, I started to shake. I felt sorry for Taylor. Isn't living together something you should talk about with her before you decide? This is the first I'm hearing about it as well. And just as I opened my mouth, the two of them started to attack.
Huh? I told her we'd live with my parents, but you can leave. Taylor would do all the chores from now on.
Terry joined in as well.
That's right. You've done your job. You wanted to get divorced, right? I still don't like how it looks to others, but nobody will notice after a bit. I'll sign the papers, so bring them here,"
he said, making a terrible offer. The way they looked down at me feels horrible. But this was my chance, so I brought him the papers. He really did sign his name on them.
"There you go, I filled it out. If you go, don't come back now."
I didn't want to come back here anyways. I gathered my things and said one last thing before I left. Taylor knows how you really are. After I'm gone, if she leaves, you two are stuck on your own to figure out how to do housework. Good luck. I'm never coming back. They looked a bit surprised to hear me say that, but I left before they could say anything back. I felt so good to finally be free, but I was worried about Taylor. I decided to at least send her a message saying what had happened. I don't know if she read it or not. A few days later, I got messages from both Vic and Taylor. What Vic sent was,
"After you left, Taylor said she wanted to get divorced. She told me I'm a horrible person for what I've done to you. She said she didn't think I was like that. I can't believe you told her all those things. I don't want to divorce her, so please come back."
This is how I responded. I said pretty clearly that I wasn't coming back. I'm already divorced with your dad. We're not family anymore. There's no reason to live together. She's right, so shouldn't you just let her go? Vic still didn't give up.
"I just got married a bit ago. There's no way I'd give up on my marriage this fast. Please, Mom, I'll apologize for how I was before. I got in a big fight with Dad, too. I don't want things like this anymore,"
he said. The fight was about whether Terry was responsible for me leaving. It seemed like Vic accused him first. I was mad at them and shocked how they blamed each other so quickly. I didn't plan on listening to it anymore. Sorry, but no matter what you say, I'm not coming back. Good luck with figuring things out together. I told them that, cut contact with them, and have been staying at my parents' house since. Their house is really close to my work, so it's nice. And the message Taylor sent was, "Thanks to you, I saw how he really is. I'd rather be divorced than live with someone like that. So that's what I'll do. Thank you for helping me," she wrote. I was proud of how strong she was. What Vic had said was,
"Mom wanted to leave. Well, things are better off without her anyways."
It seems like him saying that made her realize. It was surprising he showed his true nature so quickly. The marriage must have made him too confident. He's my son, but he got what he deserved. Vic and Terry practically mirror each other, so they must not be taking the fight very well. It felt nice for me to hear, though. I'm the happiest I've been in years, not having to hear complaints anymore. I'm enjoying my calm, divorced life now.